Every snooker player is always trying to improve their potting on a wide range of shots.
So here's some things you can do that are designed to help you practice just that.
Welcome back, and if it's your first time watching one of our videos, then it's fantastic to have you here. So how can you practice the parts of your game that need the most help?
In our potting challenges video that's in the card, I showed you ways you could find out your relative potting ability. But here's some things that will genuinely help you step up that ability to the next level.
So here's some things you can do that will help you the most with the specific challenges, like the first one, powering 10 shots across the table.
All of these little exercises are beneficial to everybody, no matter what your level, but this is particularly helpful when you're trying to complete the first challenge.
What you need to do is place the cue ball straight in line with the object ball, close enough that you can see the reflection in it. Then when you go to play the shot, just imagine the cue ball isn't there, and you're just pushing the cue straight through the centre of it to its reflection in the object ball. But why does this help?
Put very simply, you're not always aiming where you think you are, and this can cause you to miss. And this is probably the best and quickest possible way of simply matching them up.
If you're not aiming where you think you are, you may find this difficult, as aiming for the reflection may cause you to play shots off straight or even cause you to miss. However, if you keep pushing the cue through straight to the reflection over a number of shots, your brain will slowly learn where the centre of the object ball is. And the better you get at it, the easier it is to line up all types of shot. The second challenge involves running the cue ball through into a pocket and screwing it back into a pocket. This has less to do with how well you can spin the ball and more to do with straight cueing. And here's a little practice routine that can help you learn to cue the ball a lot straighter.
So here's how this works. I've just got another cue here just so the cues come back to me a little bit easier. Now here's how you set it up. You just put the cue ball on the bulk line about there and a red or any other ball on the bulk line there. Try to avoid putting them on the spots because this can cause the balls to bounce. You then just set up another ball offset from the first ball, so when you play the shot, both reds get well out of the way of the white, so the cue ball just runs through. The only problem with this is it's a little bit difficult to set up every time, so I'm going to mark the cue ball with 2 coins that I can put right next to it like that, so I'll know I've got the cue ball exactly in the right place every time. The only trouble is if I do exactly the same thing with the red, I'll end up hitting it. So I'm going to put it back from the red a little bit, just so I can see where the edges of the red are relative to the coin. So it just makes it a little bit easier to check I'm putting the red in the right place so I can play the shot exactly straight. Once you've got this set up, there's 2 things you can do with it. To start off, roll the cue ball through. So we're trying to roll the cue ball through exactly straight. That red will hit that red, so they'll go out of the way. The cue ball will run through along the bulk line, and then you can see if it comes back to the right or the left, how much side you've got on the ball, and also how straight you're striking the ball. So I hit that a little bit to the left, but I didn't have much side spin on that shot.
This helps you in 2 ways. Initially, it shows you if you're striking the ball straight, like the first practice routine, but it also does something far more valuable. Shows you if you're putting any side spin on the ball. Other practice routines can help you do this, but none where you strike an object ball like a regular shot.
The other shot you can play is to try and screw the cue ball straight back along the bulk line. So I'm going to try and screw it back in between these 2 coins here. There you go.
Getting the cue ball to screw back exactly straight is a very desirable shot to be able to play, but it's more valuable as a guide to show you you're actually cueing straight. But right now we're going straight to Charlie in Nantes, France. The third challenge involved playing 4 consecutive longer distance stun shots.
It may seem surprising, but this can be really helpful with that type of shot. Start with a cue ball anywhere in the D and 6 reds over each and every pocket. Now we've got to pop all of these reds, but the thing you're not allowed to do is hit a cushion at any point.
To start off with, to be able to do this, you need to be able to keep the cue ball in the centre of the table. But the reason this practice routine is particularly helpful is you have to play most of the shots very straight to avoid striking one of the cushions, especially if you get a little bit further away from the object ball. This can really help build your confidence because you don't have to worry too much about missing these simple shots, and this can help you learn to play shots in more of a relaxed way. The fourth challenge was difficult because it involved having to play 10 consecutive shots with the cue ball in the same awkward position.
A major difficulty with that challenge is playing shots off the cushion, and this little practice routine can really help with that, even though it's not that complicated. All you need to do is just pop the black off the cushion here. And you can follow it up by playing exactly the same shot from the opposite side of the table. And you can just see how many consecutive pots you can play. Now initially, that's not going to be that easy, and you're going to end up missing quite a few pots. But over time,
in exactly the same way as all the earlier practice routines worked, you'll learn to line these shots up a lot more efficiently. If you're struggling to pot these balls consistently, you can always leave the cue ball a little further away from the cushion. And once you feel more confident, you can start leaving yourself harder shots. You can even leave yourself different angles from different positions on the cushion, and in just a short space of time, this can really build up your confidence.
Practicing this for as little as 10 minutes can make a big difference.
It just means you come to the table feeling like you know what you've got to do. And right now I know I've got to find Ellis, who's in Douglas on the Isle of Man. The fifth challenge involved playing 12 straight shots from a long way away. But if you're not quite ready for this type of shot, is it too difficult to be trying?
The problem with practicing shots like these is it might not be at the right difficulty level to really help improve your game. Just as a shot like this is going to be too simple to be of any benefit. What you really need to do is keep going back and back until you find a distance where you start having problems. What you're looking for is the closest distance to the pocket where the pot isn't 100% guaranteed. And it's at this distance that you'll get the greatest amount of benefit from practicing from.
If you're the correct distance away from the pocket, you should find you pot roughly 9 or 10 out of 10 of these types of shots. But when you're playing these shots, they feel a little bit uneasy in a way that they feel uncomfortably like you could very easily miss one. So why does practicing this specific type of shot help so much?
Snooker isn't about shots you can play, it's about shots you can play most of the time. So doing practice that challenges you in that way is going to be the most beneficial.
And the practice routine that will help you with the sixth challenge is very similar, right after we find Josh in Porpunka in Victoria, Australia.
There's no point spending too much time on this because it works in exactly the same way as a previous practice routine. Except this time, instead of bringing both balls away from the pocket, we're just moving the white further and further away from the shot until you start to find it a little bit challenging.
Again, it's important to find the shot that's very slightly outside your comfort zone.
And it didn't take me long to discover a shot at roughly this distance is just difficult enough to cause me problems.
Again, although this is a shot I'm really confident in potting, it's not the sort of shot that I'd think I'd be able to pot over and over again. It felt like I was bound to miss one eventually, but because I'd found exactly the right place, they kept just going in, sometimes rattling in, but they still kept going in. This helps so much because in a game I'd definitely be taking on a shot like this, whereas if I was trying to play a shot that I'd never play in a game, it wouldn't really help me that much.
So with both of the last two practice routines, if you pop all of the balls like that, the next time you try it, you just want to move the cue ball back a fraction, and that will really benefit you over time.
Very few players would ever be able to get to the seventh challenge.
But this is quite a fun little thing to practice. Just place a ball in the centre of the top cushion and see how many consecutive times you can pot it.
Playing a shot down the cushion feels very different to other types of shots, and you've got to be careful with this challenge because the cue ball can run away from the top cushion very quickly.
I'm confident no matter what your ability, these practice routines can really help your game, and hopefully they'll be able to get you past the challenge you're currently stuck on. That is, if you can get to a snooker table at the moment.
And if you can't, why not have a look at our No Table Challenge? It's just something you can try if you're stuck in quarantine. Or if you can get near a snooker table, have a go at our snooker challenges. And remember, don't just watch, play. And make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.